Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Before you continue watching this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. I haven't filmed a video for ages just because creatively I haven't been there, and I'm not going to bring out a video that I'm personally not proud of. So whilst I talk, I'm not really going to be talking too much about like the products that I'm going to be using. I will make sure to link everything down below. I graduated from uni nearly 2 years ago now. I really thought I'd met my friends for life until towards the end of third year. That's when I realized, you know what, I can't have this negativity in my life forever. I think January time, and that's when you had to like start sorting out your accommodation for second year. The people that I was closest to was my friend Louise, who I've made a video with. Me and Louise, we've been friends for like now it's probably about 12 years. We met each other in secondary school, and I made friends with these two other girls. They really opened my eyes because I think before going to uni I was really naive. Pretty early I did notice like red flags with one of them. I would just forgive her for everything that she would do. She was the kind of person that you would tell her something, before you know it, people that you're not even that close with were now all up in your business. You know when like there's man around and they switch up. Oh my god, this girl, yeah. So say we're all chilling, we're at some house party, then like say we spot like some guys, she will do everything she can to impress them. But when it comes at the expense of your friends, she would literally start saying stuff about us. She'll say stuff like, oh, these girls, they do this and they do that, and whilst putting herself up on a pedestal. Also, the kind of friends that you need to like watch out for are the ones that they just want to be all up in your business. Let you ask one thing about them: they're sweating. I think in a normal environment, I think all the red flags that this particular friend was showing me, I would have definitely have noticed it. But because it was university, because I was living with her, I was just like, oh, it's fine. The other friend that I was really close with, she was an international student. So at first we had like a couple of like cultural differences. Like I remember the first time I ever met her, I think we were in a kitchen and there was like a couple of other people there, and I think I had like gum, and she just goes to me, give me gum. And I was looking at her like, is this girl crazy? Like, she was like literally one of my closest friends during uni. I really loved that girl. I still have love for her. She was the kind of person that if something would happen and she had done something wrong to you, she would never apologize. She would say, oh, but this happened, or you did this. I used to always use the analogy when describing her. She's on a ship and she realizes that ship is sinking, but she doesn't want to sink alone. She sees you on your lifeboat. She's gonna draw an arrow. Now you're sinking too. She would never take responsibility for her actions. And the definite point for me when like I was like, you know what, I'm done with you, was when we were actually had finished university. The day before I graduated, I came back from Ghana. So I've gone back to my house, and this was like my last time going there. I wanted to check how the house was because she was the only person that was living in the house, and we all knew that like she had like some of her friends who she knew from back home in our house. But I had no problem with it because I was cool with all of her people, and the house was really tidy actually. Before I had left to go to Ghana, I'd actually like did like a proper deep clean of the house because I knew I wasn't coming back, but I didn't want to leave it all to her. So it's like all she has to really do is just upkeep it. So we thought everything was all good until we got an email from our agency. They were like, oh girls, like the house is really clean, oh but we have a problem. And they sent us a picture of the bins. I might insert the picture of the bins if I can find the email. So I took it to our group chat. She just made like this excuse like, oh, some of the rubbish belongs to you guys, it's from like the freezers, which was a lie because before I left, this girl even saw me emptying all of my stuff. There was only a couple of things there because everyone was leaving. So all the rubbish basically belonged to her, and she was making it seem like, oh, you guys didn't help me. So we ended up all getting into like this massive argument with her. She didn't want to take responsibility for it. Ended up in like dramatics. Left the group chat. The agency was holding our deposits ransomed, so they were basically like, we can't give you guys the deposit until this has been sorted out. Like, we need you guys to pay for the disposal of the bins. It wasn't even a lot of money. It was literally I think it was like £30, but it was the principle. I was like, I'm not going to pay for this because it's not my rubbish. So we took it to the group chat. At this point, the girl, she had stopped replying, but I really needed my deposit back because it was post uni. Obviously at that point I wasn't working and needed my money back. I ended up having a discussion with the other girls and I was like, look, between us it's gonna be like £7.50, and it's such a shame that your friendship can end over something like that. So many people, when they go to uni, wrongly put all their energy into, especially young girls, is men are mad. Okay, as soon as I stepped into uni and like going to events, man were just rushing. And I'm not saying it all, they were moving to me because I was especially attractive. Guys, I really wasn't. I was fresh out of school. 2014, makeup wasn't really popping like it was on YouTube like it is now. I didn't know how to do my makeup. I didn't even know what concealer was. I really was going down them streets looking a hot mess, which just shows you men will move to anything. I'd always had guys as friends, but that was literally it. Man was not on my agenda. I just wanted to live my life. I just wanted to be a baby girl. And uni really taught me that a lot of men don't have respect for women. They don't have respect for our bodies. Like, and I saw a lot of stuff like even recently, fairly recently on Twitter, where girls were coming up and talking about like times that they've been sexually assaulted. And it's really sad because it's such a common thing in university. A lot of guys don't understand consent, and consent is fairly easy to understand. If somebody says no, it means no. I even had like my own like situation. He wasn't really a friend. He was friends with a couple of people that I know, and the church that I went to on campus, he was always there. I've known this guy since first year. People kept telling me, oh, he likes you, but he never came and told me that. Even though we weren't super close, we used to have good banter and everything, until like one day him and a friend of his, they invited me and one of my housemates over, and because I thought we're all friends, it would be fine. This happened in second year, but they were still living at student accommodation. Obviously student accommodation, you don't necessarily have a living room that you can take people to. So if you're inviting people to like your place, you either take them to their kitchen or your room. Housemate ended up going out of the room with the other guy, and I was alone in the room with this guy. At first I thought everything was calm because for me everything was strictly platonic. Started off like, oh, you know, I used to like you, you know. And I was like, yeah, I know, people used to tell me. Then he started telling me how I was such a terrible person. Can you imagine? Just like basically brought out a list of my supposedly bad qualities. Like, so this is what you think of me just because I don't like you back. My housemate ended up returning to the room. She ended up going out of the room again with the other guy. And then this is when like all of the madness began. So he was sitting next to me. He kept commenting on my body. He was just like saying a lot of stuff that was making me super uncomfortable. He ended up somehow managing to force himself on top of me. If somebody does something like that to you, there's only one thing that's going through your mind. I'd processed like, bro, like this guy has really forced himself on top of you. I was like, you need to get off of me. And he was like, oh, I'm not gonna get off of you unless you give me a kiss. And I was like, pardon? Give you a what? So in my like little moment of defiance, I was just like, if me giving you a kiss means that you're gonna get off of me, get on top of me for the rest of eternity, honestly. But I was still like so shocked. And the fact is, he kept thinking that, oh, this is a game, like I'm still joking, I'm just playing hard to get, which I don't understand. A lot of guys don't realize that when somebody says no, it means no. So when he did get off of me, I was just so thankful, and I was just like, where is this girl? Like, she needs to come, we need to go. And like some people might be like, oh, why didn't you just go, why didn't you just move? Guys, when it comes to fear, it's either you fight back or you actually just freeze, which is a very normal thing. And for me, I froze. I didn't know what to do. In my mind, I was just thinking like, what is he gonna do? So when she did eventually like return to the room, that's when I got up and I said, I don't know about you, but I'm out of here, I need to go. I didn't realize how much that situation had affected me until I spoke to somebody else about it. I remember just like bursting out into tears. A lot of guys just can't take no for an answer. It's not your fault. I didn't flirt with him or anything. Even if I was flirting with him, it didn't give him the right to do that. And that kind of stuff is like way too common in university. So after like that had happened, I was really wary around guys, because it's like, what if I smile at you, you're now going to all of a sudden think I'm flirting with you? I think you have to remember that you're not at fault, because for a long time I really did blame myself for the situation. I was literally like, oh, why did you go there? You knew that he liked you, you shouldn't have gone there. But at the end of the day, regardless of whether you like somebody or not, you should have self-control. Society definitely blames women for things like this, like, oh, what was you wearing? Oh, you were too flirtatious. Why are you around him? At the end of the day, if society keeps on telling men that, oh, she did this, that's why you acted in that way, people are still gonna continue doing that. Obviously, not all my experiences with guys at uni was negative, because that's where I met my boyfriend, and he's like the greatest guy. He's such a sweetheart. Another thing I wanted to talk about, also university itself. It's not easy, guys. I think a lot of people forget you're really at uni to get your degree. Super hard for me, and I went through moments where I can honestly say I was depressed. And I think it's because I put so much pressure on myself, because especially when you come from an African household, your whole life has been about academics. That's been your whole life. And so I didn't want to disappoint. I really didn't want to disappoint. So I was pushing myself so hard. Mentally, I was not okay. I was depressed for like a good year after uni. So during university, after university, I was just not in a good point in my life at all. So if I could go back in time and tell my former self anything, is pace yourself. You know, you're going to get your degree, you're going to do well, but don't work yourself into the ground because of it. You have to have time for yourself. There were times that I was barely sleeping. I would go to the library, let's say 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then come back the following morning 5 a.m. and that's not healthy. But at the time I was like, I need to study. But mental health is really important, and I think in general the black community doesn't really talk about mental health that much. I'm lucky that my mum, she was a social worker, so mental health is something that like she really understood quite well. But even that, like, I didn't really tell her a lot of the stuff that I was going through. I would just tell her that like, oh, I'm tired, uni's a lot. And I think it wasn't until like maybe a year after I graduated that I realized how deep into depression I was. When you're in that mindset, you're not really thinking, oh my gosh, I need to tell somebody how I'm feeling so I don't feel so alone. But if you are ever feeling like that, tell somebody, whether it's your mum, a friend, a family member, tell somebody. So I apologize if this video was all over the place, especially talking about like the little situation that I had with that one guy who I thought was a friend. I think things like that are important to speak about because it's something that happens so often, and a lot of people try and say, oh, we shouldn't speak about it, we shouldn't talk about it, let's sweep it to the side because we don't want to know about it. Well, you can't. Reality is these things do happen, so you should speak about it. I will leave everything that I used on my face in the box below if you're interested. Before you leave, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the thumbs up button as well. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at dys.beauty, and my Twitter is dys_beauty. Bye guys.
4,000 and I think I've loved you.